and welcome back, everyone, to the X-Men Monday podcast, episode 28. My name is Ryan. As always, with me is Alan. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Good. Are you in the holiday spirit as we make our way into the Christmas weekend?
Yeah, I'm feeling very excited.
Oh, excited, eh?
Yes.
But as always, you can find all of our episodes at columbuscomicscorner.podbean.com and on iTunes as well, where you can subscribe, rate, and review us if you'd like. We greatly appreciate it. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do so at comicscornerpod, and we also have a website, which is columbuscomicscorner.tumblr.com, where you can find our X-Men Monday written reviews, as well as some other stuff also. We also are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network, so we greatly appreciate all the support over there. And just to let everyone know who's listening, if you aren't familiar with our show, we are a spoilers podcast. So once we do get into the books, if you have not read them, go ahead and hit pause and come back. Or if you just want to hear our thoughts before you go out and buy them, go ahead and stick around. We greatly appreciate it. But yeah, before we get into... So we do have... Rob's going to be joining us here in just a second to discuss his November sales summary. But first, I wanted to plug Retcon X again. I remember I mentioned last week that we were going to kind of show you a little bit of what he's been up to lately. And just to let you know, again, his Volume 2 album comes out January 19th, 2 days before my birthday. He was kind enough to send it to us early. We have checked it out, and we are fully behind it. And we're actually going to play one of our, me and Alan's, probably, I think this is my second favorite song so far on the album. I think this is probably your favorite, you said, right?
So far, yeah, it instantly took me to an issue of X-Men, and I could see this song playing, so yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, that being said, this song is called Falling Spirals, and again, off of the Volume 2 coming out January 19th, and then once we come back, we'll have Rob on.
So we have our November sales, November 2017, thanks to Comic-Con and their website, and we can see all kinds of interesting information. And unfortunately, if you recall the numbers from October, November is not only not much better, but in many cases it's actually worse, which is not the best news. But before we get into the actual numbers, I do want to point out a few housekeeping things when it comes to this stuff. Once again, these are numbers that are that reflects shipments to comic shops, not individual purchases at comic shops. And it excludes everything outside North America and excludes everything digital. So it is only a small slice of the grand picture when it comes to sales. But on the other hand, it is still the only barometer we have to really judge whether or not things are succeeding or not succeeding. So at least from a commercial perspective. So that's what we're looking at. Second, if you recall, because we were talking about Marvel and X-Men specifically, that the legacy push basically resulted in, for every new story that debuted under legacy, comic shops stocked up on that premiere issue, plus lenticular covers, plus variant covers, and all that other stuff. And so across the board, every single new legacy story had a giant bump for the first store entry into the arc, and then a colossal drop onto the second arc, a second installment into the arc. So that's going to happen here again today. So that's just expected. And lastly, just a quality thing, you know, just because something appears low on a list does not mean that it's bad. Sometimes it does, Iceman, but sometimes it doesn't. So, you know, if it's something that you really like happens to be low on the list, that's not really a judgment on the quality of the book. It's just a matter of sales.
Mm-hmm. And marketing.
And creative editing and all that other stuff.
I think we've learned that pretty well doing this.
Ain't that the truth? All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
as ready as I think we're going to get.
All right, cool. So this
is always fun to talk about. We love this shit.
Yeah, it's fascinating. So the first big story we have here is that Old Man Logan finally entered Legacy, so it got its giant boost. And so at 60,000-ish copies, Old Man Logan number 31, which was the first issue with Scarlet Samurai, was ranked somewhere around number 17 for all comic sales for the month. However, the follow-up, as is typical for Legacy, the one before that, number 30, which was about the ranking of where Old Man Logan was before Legacy, that only sold 37,000 copies. So it got a huge bump from 37,000 to 60,000, and I'm probably going to bet that issue number 32 is going to be in the 30,000s next month. That's what I'm going to guess. Yeah.
I hope not.
I hope not either. I mean, Old Man Logan is such a good series. You know, Mike Deodato, Brisson, they're killing it. And, it is what it is.
I just would hope that with that bump that means there's more people who are actually looking at it that wouldn't normally look at it and are like, you know what, this is actually pretty good. I'm going to stick around and see.
Hopefully keep pre-ordering it. Put it on their pull list.
Yeah, hopefully. Especially with this arc.
Yeah, absolutely. So then we have a whole bunch of books that are somewhere between 35,000 and 40,000. So in order, we have X-Men Gold number 15 and number 16, both at about 39,000. Old Man Logan 30, as we said, 37,000. Astonishing X-Men number 5, 37,000. Deadpool versus Old Man Logan number 2, 36,000. X-Men Blue number 15, 36,000. And Weapon X number 11 at 36,000. All of these, except for Weapon X number 11, were decreases of anywhere between 2 and 10% over the last issue. So, what do you think about that?
Astonishing should be outselling. We always say that it should be outselling it easily. I don't know why people aren't coming back to it, or why shops don't want to. I wonder if we'll see a bump with their quote-unquote legacy sort of arc they're doing.
I'm a little surprised. Well, I shouldn't be surprised that Deadpool sold as many as it did, even if it was a decrease from the first one. For the quality of that story, I think that's amazing that it sold that much. Yeah,
Deadpool is just one of those popular characters too.
Yep, that too.
Always sell. That's one of the reasons why they made this crossover.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's funny, so of all of these, the one thing that's a real anomaly here is that Weapon X number 11, which was the last Hulk-Verine issue, was a 9% increase over the previous issue, which is just shocking to me. I don't know who bought it or why they wanted it, but somehow it's not Legacy yet.
Completionist.
It got it.
Completionist, yep. They wanted that last issue before he jumped off into his own series, so they had to have the first issue he appeared in, and they had to have the first issue he appeared in and the last issue he appeared in.
Yeah.
And I'm sure when stores saw the grade on the Weapon X number 1, they're like, oh, maybe we should get a few more copies of this. Maybe people might come back for it.
Yeah. Well, we can expect. So the next issue is number 12, which was right. 12 is the
legacy.
Is the legacy pull-in.
Yep.
So that'll be a big bump for Weapon X next month. Hopefully. So below 35,000, but higher than 30 is X-Men Blue number 16. Gold continues to outsell Blue left and right. But however, they're both still in the 30,000 range, which is pretty average for Marvel comic books these days. So
I think it's amazing
which is still
I think it's amazing that 15 and 16 of Gold are like hanging neck and neck, basically.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So then beyond that, we get into the 20,000s. We have All New Wolverine number 27 at 26,000.
Shame.
Absolute shame. This is Orphans of X. This is part now 2. That I've been reading a lot of Legacy books, and I got to tell you, All New Wolverine is probably the best Legacy arc. Period.
Yes.
And it's just, it's a shame that it's selling so low, especially for these characters. But
is this part 2 of the Orphans of X?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe that was part. I'm pretty sure that's part 2.
All right, part 2. Sure.
Let's roll with that.
We are seeing a dip since the first issue.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. No, I think this is part 3. Yeah, because we saw the dip last month.
Oh, that
with
was last
26.
month. Right.
Yeah. But still sad.
Yes.
It's still totally sad. Uh, and perhaps even sadder is Cable. Cable number 151 at only 22,000. That is a nearly 70% drop over its legacy premiere number 150.
Yeah, that's...
So everybody, we were really kind of hoping that Cable would have a complete reset. And unfortunately, at least from a commercial perspective, that doesn't seem to be true.
It makes sense why they're probably changing up the whole creative roster with the next arc. And I think, honestly, if it doesn't do well, this will be the next one to be cut.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Oh boy.
Now.
Oh boy.
Here come the tears. Here come the tears, everybody.
Oh, it's getting worse. So now we have those that sold less than 20,000. This is really dangerous territory. And in fact, at the time of this recording, we now know that all 3 of these series have now been canceled. Jean Grey number 9 sold 16,000. This is the drop off from its legacy premiere at number 8.
Shame.
Generation X and Generation X number 8 and number 9 are right next to each other at 14,000 and 13,000. And Iceman number 7, deservedly the lowest selling X book.
About time.
Is at 12,000, and that was a 63% drop off of its legacy premiere number 6.
Man, wow.
It gets better. It does get better. So beyond those, we also pay attention to the sales of X-Men adjacent books, right? Which also gives us a little bit more of a thermometer about what's going on for Marvel Legacy as a whole. So for some examples, Despicable Deadpool was only 31,000. Uncanny Avengers number 29 was only 23,000.
Yeah, it's sad.
Iron Fist, which features Sabretooth, only 17,000. If you guys picked it up, Hawkeye number 12 had all new Wolverine and the newly christened Honey Badger. And that was only 12,000, and I believe Hawkeye has now also been canceled.
Hawkeye's also canceled as well, yeah.
The final issue of U.S. Avengers, which features Cannonball and Sunspot, 12,000, and that has been canceled. That was the last issue for that series. And Secret Warriors, this was sad because we've been reviewing it very fondly on the show. That features Magic, amongst many other cool characters, specifically Moon Girl. It got its legacy bump for issue number 8, which took it up to 23,000, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that was actually a 141% increase over the previous issue.
Wow.
Goodness. Wow.
Unfortunately, we also have the sales figure for the follow-up, issue number 9, which took it below 10,000. So it's only 9,300. Wow. Only 9,300 in sales.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's been bad. It's been bad for Marvel. But to really drive home the commercial failure that is Legacy, just want to point out a few other statistics here. At this point, most Marvel titles have released at least 2 issues under Legacy, so we can see the giant boost and then the colossal drop. And across the board, double-digit drops for all of them. Some random ones: Venom, 65% drop; Captain Marvel, 63%; Black Panther, 57%; Monsters Unleashed, 71%, and so on and so on. For several series, sales are now worse than before Legacy began. Amazing Spider-Man, Avengers, Mighty Thor, Jessica Jones, Spider-Man, Deadpool.
Yes.
Yeah, these are the big names. And so far, only 2 series were able to clear 40,000 without the help of Legacy. Those being Mighty Thor and Amazing Spider-Man, which were the top 2 single issues that came out of Legacy beyond the Legacy one-shot. Mighty Thor, I think, has now sold 125,000 copies. Mighty Thor number 700. And Amazing Spider-Man 789 is at 110,000. So those are the 2 winners that came out of Legacy, at least commercially.
Wow.
And which kind of makes sense why we see No Surrender happening, and they're bringing all titles into one. Maybe they need to start getting rid of titles and only release, maybe it's hard. I can't say 5 or 6, but at least cut down what they're doing, and hopefully that's why they're doing No Surrender, to cut that down.
They do.
And with
They need to.
maybe we'll see that with X titles as well, moving forward. Who knows?
Yeah.
They need to cut down on titles across the board. There are some characters that shouldn't have more than 1 or 2 titles, or shouldn't appear in more than 1 or 2 books.
Right.
So they need to start cutting some stuff down, and
maybe not even cut it down. Maybe just do digital releases opposed to physical copies for some titles.
No, cut them down.
Cut
Calm down. Yeah,
cut them down. Because I'm sorry, I was just gonna say that some of these books, like the space that they're taking up, could be another title, or it could be another miniseries. You could do a miniseries with that slot.
True. True.
I would actually say just cut them down and leave them cut. I mean, I think part of Marvel's strategy here is to oversaturate the shelves.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as we see on this podcast and on our website and our reviews, that does not always lead to good quality. It leads to inconsistent art. It leads to shortcuts in the editing. It leads to inconsistency from series to series. We don't need to have 60 different titles a month. I mean, it's overkill.
No.
And maybe culling the fat's a good thing.
It's funny you say that because Ron, you can contest to this because I've said this before. I went into my local comic book store several times over the last couple months since Legacy's been going on, and they had put out way too many lenticulars and convinced these stores to buy way too many of these variant covers, and they're just sitting on the shelves and nobody's getting them.
Yeah,
exactly.
And Marvel's notorious for taking up real estate to knock off all the other publishers.
Mm-hmm.
Damn shame.
But except we can see in these numbers month to month is that it's a losing strategy.
Yeah.
Maybe why DC is still dominating everything.
Yeah, easily. And maybe that's why we're probably seeing all these cuts, like a lot of cuts, which it sucks. Don't get me wrong, it does suck. But at the same time, maybe this is what is needed moving forward so they can, be the Marvel that we know and love from back in the day,
Yeah. Well, you know how I love to bring the good news. I like to bring the cheer and the joy to these kinds of moments. Oh well.
Yeah, we will see. We will definitely see. And that is Rob's sales summary for November. Thanks, buddy.
Anytime.
Deadpool vs. Old Man Logan #3. Written by Declan Shalvey with art from Mike Henderson and Lee Lowridge with letterer Joe Sabino.
Maddie is tested on by Jin Form using her powers against Logan and Wade. When the two awake after being smashed by a plane, they find themselves in a holding cell with Maddie. The captain leading the military wants to also take this opportunity to examine some Weapon X property, i.e. Logan, but before they can get far, Deadpool, with the help of Maddie, crashed the party and Deadpool is ready to schnunk it out with his new toys.
What can I say? Here we are at issue number 3. Schnook. This was actually where the second issue I thought kind of slowed up a little bit and kind of took the back burner with the story. Mm-hmm. I think this actually did a little bit more to try to move the story along and actually add some story elements to it.
Yeah, at least to Maddie.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Yeah,
I was just about to say to Maddie. We learned a lot more about Maddie, and I actually like Maddie a lot more now. I still feel like she's gonna be the new Jubilee. Is what they're trying to do with her. That's what I feel like. She just reminds me of a Jubilee with way more attitude.
Yeah, I kind of get that vibe. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, just way more attitude, like a millennial Jubilee. But I mean, overall, this was a pretty good issue. It was weird when we got to the end and they decided, like, okay, we're going to experiment on Old Man Logan now. And then you have that scene where Deadpool comes in, like the cliffhanger with the claws and the schnick. That, like, threw me off and it came out of nowhere. We also learned that Maddie she's a teleporter, but she can only teleport inanimate objects. Like, She can't teleport anything that is biological. She can't teleport living things, which I'm pretty sure by the end of this is going to change. By the end of the series, I predict that she is going to master her power to the point where she can teleport whatever she wants. We also learned that apparently we knew they wanted to weaponize Maddie, but now we learned that they may have plans for Old Man Logan. I mean, I guess that guy has to always be experimental. Like this doesn't matter what version of Wolverine you have.
Always has to be the center of attention.
Always, you always got to eventually tie him up and poke him with stuff.
Yeah, I mean, overall for me, I care about Maddie. That's about it. Everything in between. None of the jokes necessarily even land for me. Besides her fart line, I got a little kick out of that. That was good. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like Logan's like dumbed down and very unbelievable. You know, he wasn't able to. I would imagine like Logan would be smart enough to know his surroundings, and if he kind of mentions that he knows they're not above ground, so why not, dig deeper and find out? I don't know. It didn't really work for me.
I get exactly what you mean, especially because we're dealing with like a version of Logan that has been around for a very long time. He's extremely seasoned, so it kind of would make sense that he would be like, you know what? I don't smell them up here, but sometimes when they're probably underground. I've dealt with tons of secret organizations that want to experiment on mutants, and they seem to always have a base underground.
Always have a base.
It's always underground, in the middle of a desert or something.
Yeah, this issue, every issue just seems so unfilling and short. Like, the only thing I initially got out of this, again, is just learning more about Maddie and her, the little bit of background that we were able to get on her power set. I'm just hoping she does spin out of this, and she's actually a factor moving forward. I know I probably said this previously, but I just hope she is a factor in this, or moving forward in the future of the Marvel universe and whatnot. And also Deadpool, they can never not have him talk. Like, I thought that was great when Logan cut his throat.
Cut his vocal cords.
And maybe we should have chopped off his head in this case and had it. No, he still would have been talking. I don't know. Yeah. Like, it didn't land for me because he was, just when I thought, oh, cool, he's going to shut up for like half the book, he's like still gargling, stuff out.
Like,
it wasn't funny for me. But, I don't know, I love the art. Big fan of the art. It has like the cool little cartoon anime vibe to it, which I dig. But I don't know.
I think we're on the same page though. Like this issue was about Maddie. Like that was the primary thing to take away from here was, yeah, the rest of the story happened, but we know more about Maddie and we're more interested in Maddie now.
Yeah, I wish they would have maybe done more of a show and tell opposed to why not showing us, why not why tell us that what she's doing and this power set? Because by the end, I was confused beyond hell with the whole Deadpool schnunk thing. I'm not sure where that came from. I even paged back to see if she did something, but her power sets don't even make sense. I don't know where he got these from. I was totally lost, and it just didn't really work for the story.
Now, are you saying you don't know where he got the claws from?
Yes.
I don't think either one of us knows where he got the claws from.
Or even Deadpool, for that matter.
I don't even think Deadpool knows where he got the claws from.
Yeah, I guess it just wasn't like a cool cliffhanger. It was more of a confusing, okay, that happened kind of cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was. It was confusing, like, what? Yeah, that did happen, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just kind of paging through it. Yeah. not a lot to this issue. I guess. I mean, I will say, kind of going off of the more of a negative. I apologize, everyone. More of a negative. Kind of going off the show and tell thing. It seems like it was like they don't have a budget to show it. That's kind of what I took away from it.
So they literally took the line from the Deadpool movie. It's like they don't have the money to
budget.
Wow.
Yeah, because we only have 2 issues left, so I really don't see us getting any more information. And if this is what we were supposed to take away from it to move forward, I would have wanted a lot more. But hopefully, we'll see what happens with her. I think we're both in it to kind of see Maddie at this point, so that's why we're sticking around.
That's what I'm invested in now. I'm invested in Maddie.
For sure. But you got anything else on this? You want to go and wrap it up?
Let's go ahead and wrap it up.
Go. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 this month for this book. Not really doing it for me, but I love the art, and I'm invested enough in Maddie. Does she have a code name yet? I can't remember if they gave her a code name in the first issue.
I don't think they did.
Okay.
I think the smart thing with characters now is to hold off when giving them a code name unless you have something amazing from the start.
Yeah, let
you
it
roll
off the tongue of the issue.
Yeah, look what happened to Gabby.
Exactly. Perfect example.
She went how many issues without code name? But I'm going to give this I'm going a little bit higher than you. I'm going to give it a 5.5, and that extra half is for Maddie.
Respect. Yep, I just want a little bit more. That's all. But cool. That is Deadpool versus Old Man Logan number 3. And what are we talking about next, Danger?
Generation X number 85. Written by Christina Strain with art from Amilcar Pina and Felipe Sobrero with letterer Clayton Cowles.
While Quentin decides to chill out on a desert island, he decides he's going to ignore everybody. Meanwhile, back at the mansion, everybody's talking relationships. Roxy's doing some more counseling, and we find out that the team has been morphed to another dimension where they're going to fight Monet. What's going to happen?
Yeah, so it was also just announced earlier this week, before we recorded this, that Gen X is actually ending at issue number 27. We were kind of made aware of this prior, so it's out now. Christina Strain actually made a post on Twitter about the whole deal, and kind of thanking everyone for who supported it through all the thick and thin, of course. But yeah, the news came at the same week as the first Legacy Era issue hit stands, which makes no goddamn sense. Marvel, like, why put a legacy numbering on it if you're just gonna cancel it 2 issues down the road?
Why tease us?
I'm gonna try not to get too worked up because I am a little sick. I want to strain my voice out even more. But the series, this is the second Resurrection title to be canceled following Jean Grey, and we kind of mentioned that last week as well. We kind of, we had a feeling that was going to be at the most 12 issues, but in the end it turns out to be 11, and they're going with the Resurrection route for the Phoenix. But yeah, going back to Gen X, I mean, this does suck because, just when we thought, hey, they're getting a legacy numbering, that means that, hey, these titles are going to stick around. They have plans for them. They're going to give them a chance to grow, and we're going to put a stamp on it. But
nope.
If it comes out, what it comes out to be, it's just another gimmick.
This hurts for people like us because we've come to really love this series, and it has become exactly what is needed in the. I'm gonna go beyond saying the X side of the Marvel Universe. It's become what's needed inside of the Marvel Universe itself.
Yeah.
It's so similar to like books like Champions, like books that are dealing with characters kind of outside of what we're normally dealing with.
The outsiders, so to say.
Yeah, the outsiders, the younger characters. It's good to get like this issue. This is a breather issue. This is like an issue that was to give you a little bit of breath between what happened in the last issue and what's going to happen in the next issue. But at the same time, there was great development here because it continues to build on things that she's laid down many issues ago.
Mm-hmm.
The whole conversation about, because this was, like I said, this was the relationship issue because there were so many people talking about relationships because they're talking about the reason that they're bugging Quentin is because they're secretly in love with Quentin, and it's like, well, no, Ben and them have their thing going on, and we get more in depth on that. We get one of the best lines of the book where he's like, well, you must like Quentin because you're always hanging around him. And he's like, well, I boys always hang around Nature Girl. Is that that was like one of the best parts of the book.
That was I'm glad that was your best part as well because that was mine. Because I think was it iBoy who was like Ixnay on the feng shui or something like that really worked for me. But I think people are either going to like or dislike this issue. More likely for the fact that because of Monet's not present, and we've been building.
She's there, but she's not quite there until the end.
But keep in mind what we've been leading up to. Mm-hmm. And for this to kind of be what we have 2 issues left now. I just would have thought that Monet's presence would have been a lot stronger. But I understand, I blame Marvel because it's they're canceling at 87. She obviously has to focus on what she's been developing, and kind of unfortunately put Monet on the back burner for now. But I can't ding it for that. But at the same time, I love the development that we got, like you said as well. Like I echo what you said. But yeah, I mean I guess unfortunately that's what had to be done for this particular issue. I thought more character development over plot.
And that's what's been so great, especially these last few issues, is that we're getting character development, and we're seeing things that she laid down in the first few issues that, at first was kind of like, okay, this could be interesting, and we kind of thought that, nothing would come of them, and now, no, something has come of this. Mm-hmm. And we're also at a point where she's done a great job of letting certain characters go off together, because we talked about how she was taking characters and putting them off, like iBoy and Nature Girl, have them go over here, and they develop a relationship and a friendship. And as readers, we develop that same thing with them. So now we care about Nature Boy and iGirl.
Oh yeah, and that's why when that line happens, it works so well for us.
Yeah, it went so well because we're like, yeah, because I did kind of feel like iBoy might have a crush on Nature Girl. Like I had been thinking that because of the way he acts and kind of, when he's around her and how much he hangs around with her, I was like, oh, I think he might actually have a little bit of a crush on her. And yet again, that's something that needs to happen in the Marvel universe. We don't have too many books or series where they're like regular people. This person has a crush on this person. We kind of see them hint at it in one other X book, but not like they did in this one. This felt like a teen drama almost.
Oh yeah, easily.
And it's not like an over the top teen drama. This is like realistically, like when the whole thing between Ben and Will happened and everything. Like I believe that, and even the way where it's at now with this issue, I believe it. Mm-hmm. While I understood the reasoning, when he's like, it ruined my last relationship, his powers. He's talking about his powers ruins relationships. It ruined his relationship with his father, ruined his relationship with his ex. I understood what he was saying with his abilities, but at the same time, because I'm so connected with the characters, I'm like, put that to the side and try.
Right. Oh yeah, you're talking to the characters. You're like, hey man, just try this. It's gonna be okay. It'll work out. Yeah, that's good writing right there, when we can really relate to them and talk to the page as we're reading the book.
And we want to see them succeed. We want to see them, when he wanted to ask him, I'm like, do it. And he didn't ask out that issue, and I was kind of mad, like, oh, come on, you can do this. But yeah, we feel like we know these characters at this point, and it sucks that, the series is going to be going away. But I think this issue still served the purpose. I think while Monet wasn't forefront, I think it did a great job of giving us an update on where everybody's at.
I agree.
Like Roxy. Look what happened with Roxy.
Yep, I was going to bring that up as well.
Yeah, that's my other thing I love about this book. That was an awesome scene.
Yeah, and much needed too, because we've been questioning, like, hey, what's going to happen with her? Like, where is her transformation going to come in? And now we know she may not even want to do this anymore. She's questioning. She's scared. You know what I mean? Like, when we see her kind of freak out towards the end.
She has another panic attack.
Yeah, she has another panic attack, and I felt for her. I was like, oh, man, like, I hope she's able to get past this. But, yeah, kind of, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off, but go ahead.
No, it's fine. I felt for Roxy all through the book, because that was the other key thing about this issue was Roxy finally sat down and had an honest conversation.
Opened herself up.
It was the last session that they had in the last issue, her last counseling session, was terrible. She was walled off. She didn't want to talk.
Yeah.
Attitude. This issue, she went in there, she opened up, and they were both real with each other. She was like, look, I knew how you felt the last time we talked, and I knew you just needed some time to come and talk. And they just had a real honest conversation. And she's kind of like, look, yeah, you might have these abilities, but is this really something that you want to do? To around a bunch of mutants, being normal is being an X-Men. If you come to the mansion, most of the people here are trying to be X-Men, and the X-Men are so much a part of the mansion and the school that it just kind of feels normal that that's what you want to do. Yeah. But is that really what you want to do?
Yeah, and she kind of mentions as well that the fact that she can't go out and be normal because of the crystal skin that she has. She's not able to transform into human skin opposed to what she is now. So that's what hurts her as well, and really kind of leads her to open up. But yeah, it was a great scene.
And it's funny you said that, because one of the things that I keep seeing throughout this series, and it's kind of sprinkled here and there with a couple people's relationships, is the idea of what is normal. Because we have the whole Ben and Will thing, like, can you have a normal relationship? Well, you guys are mutants and you have abilities, so what is a normal relationship?
Mm-hmm.
You have Roxy being normal in her environment is being an X-Men, but honestly, what is normal?
Normal, yeah.
What do you consider normal? She considers that normal, but is it really normal? So I think it's great how throughout the series, and it culminates here, that we get the idea of what's normal. We get the idea of what is a relationship between people, and that is just doesn't mean like personal relationship. It also means like friendship. Because think about it, a lot of these characters in the beginning hated each other. The first couple of issues, they hated each other, and they got Mighty Ducks, and they got stuck together. And now they're basically about to do the Flying V. Hopefully by the end of the series, they're doing the Flying V. So yeah, like it's been amazing growing with these characters and watching them grow.
It's sad as I hear you talking about
sad,
it.
Yeah.
As I hear you talking about it, and I hear the passion and like everything you're spitting out, I'm just like, yeah, it's sad because we are going to be coming to an end soon with this, and I want to believe that we will be given a strong ending. I do, but this is a hard issue to review just because we know what's coming to the series. We had Christina Strain on as well. And obviously, I don't want to fake the funk. On top of that, so yeah, it's hard to review this because I want to see us get a solid ending. I'm just worried that Marvel won't allow her. What if she wants an extra page count for that last issue? Come on, give her the page count, people. Like, don't you?
Yeah. What if she needs some extra pages to tell this story? What if they're like, you got 24 pages and she says she needs 28 or 26 or something like that?
Out with a bang.
This is especially hard for me because this is this was the top series of my list when they were announcing Legacy, and they were announcing the Resurrection and all of this new stuff with that they've been doing with the X-Men side of the universe. This was the book that I picked. Like, this is the one I was like, I can't wait for Gen X. As a fan of the original run and the original series, I am the primary person who this book was probably put out for when Marvel said, let's do Generation X, bring them back. And I will admit that it's funny you said about her interview, because in her interview she talked about, some of the people wanted her to essentially pick back up where the last series left off and bring back all those old characters. I was one of those who did want to see a lot of the old characters, but I love what she's done with the series.
Yeah.
And it would have been nice to have seen her continue the series, and maybe once in a while
we probably would have saw those characters.
Yep, that's what I mean.
Legacy, yeah.
Once in a while, they could have crossed over and ran into them. Whether it was helping them fight somebody or just coming by the mansion to see Jubilee and Chamber. Which, by the way, I can't do this review without saying Jubilee finally kissed Chamber, and that was an awesome scene.
That was
yet another awesome scene. Because Chamber's been waiting for it, and Jubilee practically freaked out when she did it. But I digress from what I was saying. It would have been awesome to see a crossover, here and there between some of the old Gen Xers and the new ones. Even if it would have been awesome to see them meet the White Queen or Banshee, to meet the original teachers of the original team. So that would have been interesting. There's so much that she could have done here.
Teachers.
Oh yeah. Could have had substitute teachers. There's so much you could have done with this. So much you could have been
she
done.
Would have. And we know she would have.
And it's a shame because this isn't the traditional like superhero book. Like, yeah, they have powers and abilities, but they're not traditional heroes. In the very beginning, we're told like they're more being taught to live as normal as possible, if you will, with their powers. And they just kind of happen to have things happen to them, and most of it's only happening because Monet came back. So I mean, it's a shock. I could talk so much about this book in this series, and what's been done with it. And I know
at
Ryan.
least we got 2 issues left. I think
You're right.
I think with 87, we'll talk off air about maybe getting Rob and Anthony to join us as well for the final issue.
I would love it because this is another one of those books. I say it every so often. People who listen to any of our podcasts hear me say this. There are certain books that become staples of our show and our channel. There's certain books that just become staples. And as far as the X-Men Monday goes, Gen X has become one of the X books that has become a staple of the show and has become loved by everybody who's a part of X-Men Monday.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, my friend. Indeed. I do want to touch on the art as well.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
It worked for me. Obviously, there are still some facial expressions I'm not a big fan of, but overall, I still enjoyed it. There was really one cool panel when iBoy was actually talking to Nature Girl, and you're kind of seeing it from his point of view.
I'm looking right at that panel now.
I like how that kind of just randomly was plopped in there, and then we also see a Zero skateboard shirt when I think it's the cliffhanger page. Oh no! It's when they walk out of the school and they see all the ghosts, and that's when they start to question everything. But one of the guys is wearing a Zero shirt, and I tweeted at the artist. I was like, "Is that a Zero shirt I spy?" He was like, "Yeah." His inspiration was Billy Zane. I can't remember his last. I always butcher the last name. I think Billy Zane from Smashing Pumpkins in that music video. So I was like, "Oh, okay, I see it now." But it was cool to see a little Zero skateboarding shirt in there.
Is that the? I'm looking at that panel right now. He says they first come out of the school.
Yeah, they first come out of school, and Benjamin's like home, and then he says, well, I'm pretty sure he says shit, but it's and it's like literally next to the panel where he's coming out of the school and says home.
Oh, the star on it.
Yep, the star on it.
Okay, did you catch the Misfit shirt?
Yep, got that one too. I was looking for everything else. I was like, oh, what else is going on?
I'm looking at everything now.
Mm-hmm. Now I like that page though. Like again, I think the art was pretty solid for this, and the whole Monet thing. It came out like nowhere in a sense, and no pun intended actually. So I'm interested to see what's going on with that. I'm wondering how much of Monet is going to be playing into these next 2 issues now, and we hopefully we'll get that Monet payoff because everything prior to this it was like 3 issues I feel kind of leading up to the whole Monet bit, but unfortunately since it was cut short, she has to do what she has to do, and I still think it was a fine issue though for the most part.
I kind of feel like Monet before everything got cut short. I kind of feel like Monet was going to get brought into the fold. Because Monet is essentially, she's possessed by her brother right now. I kind of feel like maybe the idea was to
free her of that, maybe
free her from there, and then kind of have her, not necessarily come back like to fight or anything, but to be talk about like subs or a mentor or something like this to come back with the kids.
That would have been nice, and that could have been the plan as well.
That could have been pretty awesome.
Well, we saw 2 issues, so we'll see.
But that would have been really awesome if some of the original team did come back, but not as okay, we're suiting them, we're fighting crime. They're just like, okay, look, we're just the mentors.
Professors, teachers, yeah.
Professors, teachers, look, we all used to be in a group together and used to try to do this. And we realized it's not the thing for us, but we're more than willing to guide you guys and help you guys live life.
Speaking of professors and mentors, whatever happened to the janitor?
Yeah, that's a good question. That was issue 2, I think it was the last time we saw him.
Yeah, I think he maybe showed up twice, I think, throughout the series.
The last time I remember seeing him was when he was the ladder. He was on the ladder.
Yeah, then we saw him again after that. I wonder what he's up to. I wonder if he was going to be... Now I just have all these questions I wonder if she was going to do that or this or this or that.
All these questions.
Yeah. And also, I just want to give a quick plug. If you have not listened to the interview that Anthony did with Christina Strain, it is on the feed right now. So definitely go ahead and check that out and get some insight into her past, her future, all that good stuff. But you got anything else on Gen X, or you want to go ahead and wrap it up?
Let's go ahead and wrap it up.
All right. I'll let you score this one first.
Even though this was a breather, this was the issue to kind of cool you down a little bit, let you catch your breath before we get into like the crazy stuff that's about to happen in the next couple of issues. I'm going to give this a 9 for the development. I thought that the last couple of issues had some character development in it, but I think like this may be the one issue that has the most character development in it. We saw everybody. We saw except for the janitor, but we saw everybody had a moment in this book. Nature Boy and Nature Girl and I Boy had a moment. In the whole Ben, Will, and Quentin thing, that was a little moment. Jubilee and Chamber had a moment. Monet had her little mini moment towards the end. We had the moment with Roxy. Like this book was full of moments and full of character development. Like every scene was part of character development. So,
Respect.
9.
Respect. I'm gonna go with a 7.5 on this issue.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong, I love the moments that we got. I just would have liked more plot at this point, especially knowing that we only have 2 issues left. I just feel everything we've been building up to, we always love the character moments that we get through these past few issues. And this one was more like, hey, I need to go ahead and put these things in motion, kind of get to wrapping these things up, and I will come back later with the plot. But with this issue, let's just take it character driven first, and then we'll come back to our normal broadcasting. So I just would have preferred more of a plot than a lot of exposition, so to say.
I feel you on that. I think we needed this though, because the last issue they just had the earthquake. Jubilee almost died. Like there was some stuff that happened in the last issues. That's why I feel like we needed an issue. Yeah, we needed an issue where they can take a break, take a breath, and everything. That's like, let's let what just happened settle. Quentin left. Like let everything settle for a moment before they get pushed into madness. But I see exactly where you're coming from, and I can understand that
for sure. And I like the art overall as well. I think it's definitely an improvement for me. A lot of good work there. I'm really digging it. But yeah, you got anything else on this? You want to go ahead and move on?
Oh, let's move on.
Cool. What are we talking about next, Danger?
Old Man Logan number 32. Written by Ed Brisson with art from Mike Deodato Jr., Frank Martin, and Carlos Lopez with letterer Corey Petit.
After seeing that the Hand actually resurrected the Scarlet Samurai, we catch back up with Old Man Logan in the present, where he decides to track down and destroy the Hand once and for all. He is then surprised by the leader of the Hand and the Scarlet Samurai, who chops off Old Man Logan's hand, and we are revealed to find out who the mystery samurai is.
So we find out it is Mirko at the end. And my first question to you, before I get into my kind of overall thoughts, did it shock you? Did it wow you? Obviously you called it already, but did it still work for you, although you kind of saw it coming? And I think anyone maybe as well, if they did enough research, they would have found out prior to that. Even on the first cover of the Legacy arc, it was like kind of blatant, I thought. But did it still work for you though?
Yeah, it actually still worked for me, even though since the beginning of it, since the cover of it in that first issue of the arc, I was like, oh, it's got to be Miracle. Like, I'm like, it's got to be her. Even here in this issue, it was kind of like they teased those who may have already known, because we kept kind of seeing her but not seeing her.
Yeah.
And then we get to the end, and we even the grave. We see the grave where he goes to the grave, and then we get to the end where he's like, "Come on, Logan, before I kill you, before you get destroyed, I want you to realize what I brought for you." And he's like giving him all these hints, like, "Yeah, you smell, the perfume she used to wear. You smell cherry blossoms, this, that, and the other." And then it's finally revealed at the end that it was her. It still worked, and that's not always the case. I've said it before that you can give fans something that they expect, but if you present it in a certain way, it'll still have impact.
You're right, exactly.
And this still had impact for me, even though this is the third issue in this arc. And since the beginning, I was like, oh, this is who it has to be. I still got to that last page and turned it and was like, man, I can't believe they actually did that. That's like the dirtiest thing somebody could do to Logan. The dirtiest thing. So yeah, to answer your question, yes, it did work.
Very nice. Good to know. Good to know. I thought it was a very fine issue, though. Slow at times to establish Tuco and his wife. I think that's how you pronounce the guy's name. The scientist who was stealing the Regen X.
The one that got killed in the last issue, I think so.
Yep. So that he was kind of establishing, because we were wondering how the two paths would meet. So we did see that he went to the funeral, which is a cool scene. Classic, do it to good. Falls into we learned that Tuca, I should say, was he was a classic kind of good guy, but then turned villain. Fell into the wrong hands, unfortunately. But overall, I mean, this issue really was just like 3 scenes plus the callback to at the start. But yeah, kind of overall, I made for a quick read. I still thought the dialogue worked for very well, especially with the reveal of it being Mirko and Gorgon. He's ruthless.
Ruthless.
Really ruthless. And with on the hands part as well. So that I want to see more of him. What were some of your overall thoughts, though?
Yet again, I'm going to agree that he was ruthless. Mirko is amazing as Scarlet Samurai. Oh my goodness.
We saw what she did in the Belly movie.
Yeah. When she took his hand, I was like, wow. They just cut off Old Man Logan's hand. Like, is this going to be something going forward that he's going to be one hand Old Man Logan?
That's how you build tension right there.
Yeah. And it instantly took me back to anybody who's listening to this knows that I have an affinity for certain story arcs from the 90s, one of which being Age of Apocalypse, where there is a future version of Wolverine in the Age of Apocalypse that has one arm. And it instantly took me back to that moment when I saw his arm get cut off. I instantly went back to Age of Apocalypse. It's the same exact arm, too, the same hand.
Is this the start of his retirement?
I don't know. Is this it? He's like, look, I got one hand. I'm getting too old for this. I'm just gonna go. They brought back my dead girl. I'm just gonna go kill in the cabin in the woods.
Time for me. I can't heal like I used to. I ain't got time for this shit. Just give me a cigar and some whiskey.
And that's one of the things that they keep doing too. Is especially in the Old Man Logan series, is they are really like emphasizing that he may not be able to do this too much longer. Old Man Logan may not be around in the Marvel universe like as a stable figure for too much longer, which is pretty good, seeing how we got our young Logan back
right now.
Yeah, he's
that'd be really
kicking
cool to
around
see
somewhere.
a funeral scene that actually matters, and they actually put Old Man Logan to rest. Especially if you're gonna have Wolverine right now, roaming around. You need to kill this Old Man Logan off and have a proper funeral for him. Personally.
I'm iffy with it. Like, part of me is like, I'm with you. Kill him off and give him a funeral. Before then, I would want a moment where he actually meets our Logan, and maybe impart some kind of words of wisdom to him. But then the other part of me, is I given everything that he's been through between the Badlands and coming here and everything. I just want them to kind of just let him go off somewhere and retire. Like, if he can just go off somewhere and just never pop the claws again, like, seriously this time. Never pop the claws, never go on any adventures, just give him some rest. I think if any version of Logan has earned it, this version has.
Yeah, while I would like to see it on a happy note, I think it would have more of an impact.
It have more impact, yeah. I can feel the impact that it would have. And you could have like a crazy funeral scene, and you could have ended with like, Wolverine looking at Old Man Logan's grave, or saying something meaningful to the call. Like, I get what you mean. It could be very impactful. It's just like, I don't know. You don't get too many happy endings, and we almost never get a happy ending for Wolverine, any version of him.
We usually don't.
So even the ones that have a happy ending, there's always an extra, something messed up attached to it. And when we get off air, I will tell you 2 instances where that happens.
Nice. And real quick, we see Silver Samurai return.
Yes, Silver Samurai is not dead. He's thrown in the garbage.
Kind of confusing. He was really pissed off about that. That was really funny.
He was like, how did they not recruit me? Out of all people, they should have recruited me.
I didn't understand how we got out of the trash can, though. That was still a confusing panel transition for me.
You know what? No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, because it seems like it starts to whir up, and then it just kind of crashes into itself, or I don't know. I didn't get it.
Let me see. Let me get back to that real fast.
Maybe it's just me.
Yeah. That's crazy. It's almost like he tried to tip out of it the way he fell, but
maybe that's what he was trying to do. I think in this case, Mike Deodato's art could have benefited from a little bit more of a better flow.
I think for those 2 panels, yeah.
But his art still, don't get me wrong, still top notch.
It's still amazing. Plus, when he got out of the trash can, that was just all
awesome.
Pure hilarious.
Yeah. Don't touch me, and it chops the dude's head off. Poor civilian.
Poor civilian. He just want to take his trash out.
So we're assuming. Weird thing is, I usually don't look at previews, but I wanted to see how many arcs this was. So there's only one issue left in this arc.
I can see that.
But it's still continuing on into the next arc. It's kind of confusing.
I can kind of see that, because this arc essentially is the Scarlet Samurai.
Yeah, the resurrection, pretty much.
Yeah, and then from there, I'm willing to bet that we're not going to be quite done with the hand yet.
And we also won't be seeing Mike Deodato. Yep.
Thanks a lot for that, buddy.
Hate to be the bearer of bad news. But to bring it back, though, I really dug Gorgon as a villain. The way I'm not too familiar with his power set, so to see that he was able to read Logan's mind and really fuck with him by like repeating everything he says, like before he finishes his sentence.
Oh yeah,
as really he's thinking about it. As he's thinking about it,
he's like, "Do I smell cherry blossoms?" He's like, "Yeah, Logan, you smell cherry blossoms, don't you? What else do you smell?" It was like, "Oh man."
So yeah, it really helped with the reveal of Miracle, I thought. But overall, it was a very quick read, though, for me.
Yep. It was funny that the hand took a hand.
Yes, they did, and took a lot of lashes as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we forgot to comment the fact that they gave the Regenex to the hand soldiers, the hand ninjas.
Yes.
That's a terrifying thought.
That's very terrifying. You know, it's funny, too, when I was reading this, I was like, we never actually see the hand outside of their garb. And we actually see there are humans under there. Not humans, but bodies at least. Things, yeah. But,
man.
Overall, I mean, that's like really the biggest thing to take away from it is Miracle. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a fun issue, though. It didn't like wow me like these last two did. But I thought this was still good.
I think it had wow elements in it for me. The whole issue didn't wow me, but there were elements in it that did wow me.
Yeah, when they were following Logan and the Tuco's wife, and they found him at the bar and killed Tuco's wife, I was like, damn, ruthless. Yeah,
and he's like, and Logan's like, look, I know we're gonna fight. You guys want to kill me? It's gonna happen. I have no problem with that. Leave her alone. We just do this. And they kill her anyway. Even though I knew they were gonna kill her anyway. I mean.
Yeah.
Come on now.
She should have never met with him.
Yep, should have never met with him. At least all I gotta say is at least you dropped the baby off at the babysitter's.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, overall, the art's still stunning to look at. What's up?
Well, I was gonna say, because I was gonna compare. Okay, let me ask you this question. Okay, I just said that the daughter was dropped off at the babysitter or at the parents' house or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the daughter's dead. Maybe she may find out that the mommy is dead because she met with this mutant, and now she's an orphan of X. I'm just saying, this is how it starts. That's how it
starts. You're exactly right, my friend. They are always, every issue, the orphans X are always growing. Even if it's not all new Wolverine, they're growing easily.
They're growing. They are growing. It's funny because I'm sitting here reading this. I'm like, man, he is a crazy leader. Like he's almost scaring me as much as the orphans of X do.
Yeah, Ed Brisson was able to portray Gorgon in that way, which I really dug.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't have too much for this issue, though. I mean, it was, like I said, it was a quick read and, like, 3 scenes, really, for the most part. And kind of just to get us to the reveal of Miracle.
Yeah, I'm about to say we literally hit every point in this book. Like literally, there's no little plot element we left out. Like that's literally the whole book.
Yep. But yeah, that's all I really got for this. Unless you got anything else.
No, I'm just wondering what your rating's gonna be for it.
I'm gonna go with a 8 this time around. Yeah, gotta stick with my 8. Like I said, still a good issue. I thought there was not a lot to it besides it just focuses on us. Which was a fine reveal of Mirko and the transition of like kind of Gorgon speaking with Logan as it happened. That all worked for me. But yeah, it just didn't have that same oomph as these past 2 issues have.
That is funny that you say that because even though I enjoyed it, I was actually going to sit at an 8 for this issue.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I said, it did have moments in it that did wow me. Even though I saw the reveal coming, the way they presented the reveal throughout the issue still had me like amazed when they did it. Old Man Logan missing a hand, Gorgon as a villain. I mean, of course the artwork, but the artwork has gone it really needs to go unsaid at this point in the last these last couple arcs of Old Man Logan.
Minus that trash can thing. I'm still
minus the trash can.
And we'll see where Silver Samurai plays into this as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to bet the next issue we're going to have the Silver Samurai versus the Scarlet Samurai.
Mm-hmm. Come to rescue, not really necessarily rescue Logan, but kind of good timing.
Yeah, good timing. Yep. Give him enough time to reattach his hand.
There we go. Cool. Well, let's go ahead and move on to our last book of the evening. And what is that, Danger?
X-Men Blue number 18. Written by Mark Guggenheim with art from Ken Lashley and Arif Prieto with letterer Corey Petit.
Kologoth gives the X-Men several opportunities to leave Planet Dardamus. They just won't budge. Nightcrawler's a bit shooken up, but he'll be fine. The statue he was stuck in actually comes alive and becomes a new threat. The team had a one-way ticket to paradise and chose to dig themselves deeper in shit.
My. We had some pretty interesting developments with this issue, didn't we?
Don't remind me.
We had interesting developments from the start of the issue. Personally, I thought that it was funny that they had the whole little renovation scene where they're getting the contractor to give them quotes.
I'm glad that was at least, because I brought that up when we were talking about it last time. Like, that better come into effect.
And it did, and it was hilarious. And it's funny because the last few issues, that when we deal with the mansion, I shouldn't say the last few issues. The last few issues before the Mojo crossover, whenever we dealt with the mansion, there was always some kind of thing popping up that we were like, okay, this is going to be the thing that's going to make them leave Central Park. This is going to be it. This is going to be it. I think this might actually be like one of the major things because they're told that
where they're gonna get the money to do this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they get this crazy estimate on what it's going to cost to fix it. And they're like, well, we never paid that before, and like this kind of stuff happens to us all the time. Like, well, yeah, you guys are like the outskirts of New York. You're, now you're in New York. You're getting New York prices now. So I thought that was hilarious. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's funny too because Aquila's like, yeah, they were here and then at Limbo at one point. Maybe we were gonna move to space. Maybe that's where the X-Men will go for a little bit.
Oh man, and then we pick up with Rachel. You know we had to talk about Rachel. We were already here. We might as well get to Rachel.
Might as well.
You say you were noticing something about Rachel. You noticed that she had her hound scars again, right?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
So, yeah,
and I was telling you that may or may not be the return of Rachel Summers as Phoenix.
Which makes a lot more sense than I think about it, because with the god at the end of this issue.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she's gonna break out into Phoenix Force possibly and go after it, type of deal.
Yeah, it almost makes you wonder if that's going to be something that's going to pop up in another book now, doesn't it?
Probably not.
But like you said, Kologoth gave them plenty of opportunities to leave.
So many chances.
The planet.
Like X-Men, like he doesn't care about you. He just wants his throne. Like, leave it be. That's all.
He's like, look, man, you can take the ship, you can take your friends, you can go. We don't know where Nightcrawler is. He's probably dead. So, speaking of which, quick thing about Nightcrawler, right?
Oh, man.
What, you have a problem with him like having that split second, moment to just be like, okay, I need to teleport down.
I have so many issues with that. That was
He,
such a failure
he
of a
essentially
plot.
teleports. He essentially teleports straight into the statue, and then immediately teleports out of the statue. But I mean, he did.
Where's the threat in that though? Where is the why end on that sort of cliffhanger from the last issue? Only just to be like, okay, let's just have him bamf out. He'll sit out for the issue while he recuperates.
For the remainder of the issue,
Like, why not have now we're playing script doctor, but why not have the X-Men find him and be in awe and shocked? Put some weight to it before you just end it right away.
well, you know what my
No
idea was, to have him actually injured from going into the statue, and to leave him like that for a little bit. Like, let's have a few issues where like Nightcrawler is like, they're not really sure if maybe he's gonna be able to walk again.
Yeah,
Or they don't know where he is. Yeah. On a plus side, though, did you see the other interesting development in this issue? And before you say it, I'm not talking about the fact that Kitty called Colossus sweetie or whatever it was.
Oh, Storm did something?
Storm did something, yes. Oh my goodness, she was like, Bloodstorm who?
Yeah, she finally done it.
Yeah, she finally does. She has some lines. She like
I have some
gigantic,
issues with her lines though, unfortunately. So here's the thing.
Oh my goodness.
So it's when she's holding Kologoth. And she kind of mentions to him like, "Hey, I know you don't understand. I know you don't speak our English, and you don't understand what I'm doing to you right now. This whole time we've known, and the X-Men have known, that he can speak their language.
He's talked to them.
He's talked to them. Why? So, yeah, just didn't work.
This is the thing, is that they're on a planet with the freedom fighters who have mastered or can speak our language. What makes you think the dude what makes you think the dude who was sitting on here Earth for a few months didn't learn some our language while he was there? These guys have just met you. They've only known you for a few hours and they already can speak, your language. Why wouldn't this dude know how to speak it? And he was talking to them when they first met.
Yeah.
When they met up for the exchange, when he was going to give Kitty to them so they could leave, he was talking to them. And he wasn't kind of talking to him. He was talking to him.
Full blown conversation. Whole issue. Again, the whole issue is asking them to leave and take your friends. Like, we didn't mean to capture your friends. Your dumbass friends got on our ship.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, it really is the same issue from last week or 2 weeks ago.
I mean, with the exception that they're face to face now.
Yes. I'm just not a fan of the plot seed. Like, more of a we're not getting a payoff, so to say. It seems like we're always getting seeds, but then just like conversations that don't really go or develop the plot. Besides, at this point, we know that the statue is a god and he's a monster now. Like, it doesn't work for me, man.
I mean, it was an interesting development. I didn't expect the statue to like come to life, and I was kind of like, oh well, they might be screwed now. But like you said, it wasn't a ooh and ah and oh my goodness. It was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's it. It seems like we're always just setting up the next arc, opposed to enjoying what we have in front of us. Like, it doesn't necessarily come off as an engaging issue, and I have a huge problem with the art. So it's when Armor and Colossus are back to back. Does that Colossus look familiar at all? Does that look familiar at all? I can't remember the exact issue, but it's when Kitty and him were back to back and they were fighting someone.
Oh,
it's literally like copy and pasted Colossus.
Well, I mean, he's got a different uniform one.
That's easy to change.
Did you do a side-by-side comparison?
I should. I really should.
Oh man, that is funny.
And even the dialogue there was just, it wasn't clever at all. It was like they were speaking a different language, and then it was translated in an editor box.
Which threw me off a little bit. So I was kind of like, wouldn't that normally be like an editor box, or a narrator box?
Yeah, not. I don't know. Hey, we have a Mark Guggenheim has 17 issues outlined. So, how this has not been? Oh, we know why it hasn't been canceled, because it is their flagship, quote unquote, and it's obviously selling. What we were talking 60 or 30, 60,000, right? Or 30,
I don't remember.
30.
I don't. Whatever it's selling. It's one of the highest selling X books.
And then don't even get me started on the commander who switched sides for some odd reason. That came out of freaking nowhere.
Well, I thought he was undercover. I thought he had been a plant that Kologoth had put in there to find out information about the rebels. That's what I thought, because I think, didn't he even say something like that?
They mentioned that in the end, yeah.
Yeah, so he was a plant. He was one of Kologoth's soldiers, undercover dude.
There's just no weight behind it for me to care about that much.
Do you know why? It's because we're following the X-Men. The X-Men are on an alien planet with an unknown race that none of us have ever seen or met before, in the middle of a civil war. And I guess we're supposed to care because we're dealing with Space Hitler. Like, I don't know. There's not enough there to care about the battle going on.
No, the empty planet.
now, what's the empty planet? It's only the rebels and Kologoth soldiers. What's funny though is similarly, in All New Wolverine a few arcs ago, we had an alien who came from space and needed help, and it was done in a way that made us care about what was going on that planet. We wanted Laura to get to the planet
go there
and see what's going on. Here we have kind of the opposite. We have the villain who's already on planet Earth, and we end up on his planet, but we don't care. We didn't care when we found out about who Kologoth was. We didn't really care. We were like, okay, he's Space Hitler, and he's got alien Nazis. Okay, that's exactly what he has. Big whoop. Now, had he actually attacked and maybe injured or almost killed somebody, Rachel does not count, because Rachel was only down in the infirmary to bring back Rachel as the Phoenix. That's the plain and simple reason she's there. If you remember when this started and we saw Rachel in the infirmary, I said, look, she's going to come back.
Yeah.
And when she,
stronger
and
as
when
ever.
when she comes back, she's going to come back because Kurt's in trouble. Kurt's going to be the reason that she comes back. And she's going to come back to save him. So, yeah, Rachel doesn't count right now. But I don't know. What I'm getting at is the fact that there's not enough there to make us really care. Do you honestly care about Kologoth and the Civil War that's going on? Like, any of that, dude? Does any of that matter to you, Ryan?
We haven't even learned enough about the Civil War to care, like you were saying earlier. Like, there's nothing there.
Yes, we have. We learned that he was an outcast amongst his people. He was found. He was raised. He became Hitler. He did exactly what Hitler did to take power, except he's an alien on another planet in the negative zone or negative universe, whatever. That we learned everything we need to learn about Kologoth in this Civil War. That's plain and simple. He wants to seize power so that he can be the space Führer. He wants to go from being Space Hitler to being the Space Führer. That's plain and simple what it is. Boom. Do you care now, Ryan? Do you care about Kologoth in the war?
Deep down, no.
No. And at this point, do you think they could really add any element that would honestly make you care? Because anything that they had that could have made us care was killed in the issue that they introduced him and gave us backstory. Because we started to care about him when we found out, he was a mutant amongst his people and he was abandoned in the woods. That was like, that's sad. That's kind of sad. But then he comes back and becomes Kologoth. So, I mean, I don't know. Don't know. I'm just waiting to get out of here.
Same here. I will say I like the overall the art is fine though. Besides outside of the copy and paste Colossus, I thought the colors really worked with Ken Lashley's pencils. Way more than the last issue.
This might be some of the better art that I've seen in Gold since the beginning. I didn't have any major issues that I can think of off the top of my head with Kitty, and if you know, I've been screaming foul with Kitty since the beginning of the series. I didn't have any issues with Rachel, but for the most part, the artists always seem to do a good job of depicting Rachel. Like Rachel seems like she's not hard for them to draw. It's always like Kitty's so tough to draw.
Storm looks great. All the characters look great for sure.
Yeah, they look great. The colors, like you said, the colors look really good.
Armor still doesn't really have much to do besides kind of stand in the way.
Yeah. I'm waiting to see what's going to happen with Armor.
I'm waiting to see what happens after this arc. At this
That's
point.
it. At this point, we're just passing through. That's how this feels like. We're just passing through.
Just passing through. Well, let's go ahead and give our scores on this because I don't think we have anything nice to say about it, really, unfortunately.
Oh, boy. Let's see.
I'll let you be the bearer of bad news first.
I'm gonna go 5.5. And that comes honestly from our discussion we just had. Art's not terrible. It was good to see Storm finally do something.
Yeah.
While it was silly, I did like the moment with Kitty and Colossus. I've been a champion of putting them back together also since the beginning of the book. Yeah, so I mean, I wish they would have left when they had the chance to. I mean, and I'm interested to see what's happening with Rachel. I really do want to see if she's going to come back as Phoenix Rachel, and if so, if maybe help out somewhere in another series, which would be kind of awesome for me. So yeah, I'm gonna say 5.5.
Seeing how the mansion isn't destroyed in Generation X, probably won't see it. Or it wasn't destroyed in Jean Grey, yeah, we probably won't see it.
Probably won't see it. What's the timeline though? What's the timeline?
So that's a whole nother dimensional conversation. I'm gonna go 4, and that's mainly for 3.5 for Art, 0.5 for Storm doing something.
0.5 for Storm doing something. Hilarious.
And I am ready to move on. So yeah, that is the books for this week. We're going to take a quick break, come back with some fastball tweets. Maybe all of them, maybe some of them. We will see. Let's go ahead and take that break. Back everyone for some fastball tweets. If you want to get your fastball tweets, and you can do so by going to our Twitter, which is at Comics Corner Pod. It will be the pinned tweet on New Comic Book Day, Wednesday, every Wednesday, usually around 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you've read any of the books, you can send your thoughts in. We'll read them on air, like we're doing right now, as you hear us talk about it. If you're on Twitter and you want to email us your thoughts, go ahead and do so at columbuscomicscorner@gmail.com. Let's go ahead and get into our first one, and it's from Steve Sellers at Shadewing. Ed Piskor does not disappoint with grand design. New readers or anyone interested in ancient X-Men history should check this out. He does make a few unrevealed connections and makes small changes for dramatic license, but the larger thrust of it's all there. So yeah, we actually haven't we haven't read Grand Design yet. We decided if you're listening to the last episode, we are going to be discussing it, but as it wraps up, and we'll do a special episode for that. But I can't wait to pick up my copy when I go to my shop tomorrow and get my pull, because I hear it's a pretty dense book, and it looks amazing, so I'm really stoked on it. How about you?
Of course, I'm excited about it. I love some X-Men history. I'm glad that somebody did take the time to read it and comment on it for us without spoiling it for us.
Yeah.
But this is definitely one of the books that I'm really excited for us to talk about. I can't wait to actually get into it. I will be reading this for the next day or so.
After you read Marvel 2 and 1.
Yeah, after that. But it's good that you already get some positive feedback from it.
Oh yeah, it's sold out I'm pretty sure at every shop. As well, so it did well out there. So I can't wait to see. I know it's already going back for reprints already,
Don't tell me that.
So yeah, that's gonna be doing well, and I can't wait to read it. I heard Rob said it was about 50 or 60 pages.
Woo!
Yeah,
Yes, I need to jump into that. Yes.
Indeed. I can't. Yeah, gotta get the physical copy of that. Cool, and thank you for that, Steve. Our next one is from RetconX at RetconX. I really enjoyed X-Men Gold. Storm finally got some love. Kitty calling. We forgot to mention this as well. Kitty calling Kologoth Green Percyrus had me cracking up. That was a pretty good line that had me. It got a little chuckle out of that as well. But I think the overall issue still kind of hurt me to make it tainted. But yeah, I'm glad you really enjoyed it. Though I'm glad the Gold series, this arc, I should say, is working for people. Unfortunately, it's not working with us. Maybe once Rachel wakes up, things will get exciting for us, and maybe some better writing as well. But we'll see. What are your thoughts, Alan?
I'm glad that he enjoyed it. I didn't get as down on it as you did, but I think that Code Red. I think that Kitty. I forgot about that moment with Kitty. Kitty was hilarious in this one, even though she kind of took a slight backseat this issue, because Old Man Logan's in charge right now. I can't wait, as I said before, to see what's going to happen with Rachel. I think that's going to be the key to making me thoroughly enjoy what's going on with this arc. Because I don't like Kologoth. I just can't. I can't get into it.
And we have to keep in mind too. Guggenheim has said that there is going to be huge impacts from this arc. So maybe Kitty, not Kitty, but Rachel will be the forefront of that. We'll see. Mm-hmm. That's how it's all. It kind of seems to be leading right now, at least since she is off the map.
And that's how I feel. I feel like it's going to be Rachel. I've been saying something big is going to happen with Rachel, and I think that it is going to be the Phoenix.
We will definitely see. And thank you, as always, RetconX, and for the great album. And our next one is Dan Petrosky at Petrosky42. Space Hitler's planet seems pretty empty, or seems empty in Gold. Wide shots show cities, but no crowds. The government seems to be just one guy chatting with the X-Men. Kologoth's army appears to be 5 soldiers in his bay. Love to see a Gov council and street shots of society. Build the world to raise stakes. And Dan, thank you. Thank you. While we have RetconX who is digging Gold, we have someone on the opposite side as well. So it's cool to see 2 different opinions outside our silly thoughts. But yeah, you hit the nail on the coffin for me, man. Again, he really does make a good point. The government seems to be just one guy chatting with with the X-Men. It all just seems so bare, and there's nothing to grab a hold on to, unfortunately.
Oh, do I have to say something now? I gotta say something.
Oh, you gotta follow up on that.
All right. I'm gonna follow up with something that is going to be it's gonna be for both of these last couple of fastballs. First off, I think I'm going to compare what's going on in Gold as far as the planet goes with it was, I don't know how long ago it was, but there was a point in time when sandbox games became really huge on the PS3 and then the early 4. Grand Theft Auto type games where you have these big expansive maps and everything. Mm-hmm. And what would happen a lot of times was they would spend all this time designing the city and the map, but not enough time populating that city and the map to make it feel like a city. So with this, what we're getting a planet where it does look like a giant planet. It looks like there was a society there. It looks like an immersive place. There's all these different places you could possibly go, but we're not seeing anybody populating it. And we've only seen a handful of rebels at this point, and we've seen just barely more of Kologoth soldiers. So I think that's a very good point where it's you want us to care about this world, or you want us to feel drawn into it. Why not populate it? Why not show us some families cowering in the city trying to protect their kids from this war, so we can kind of be okay, I feel a little bit because these people obviously have no place to go, and they're trying to protect their kids, and there's all this war going on around them. Do something like that. We haven't seen any of that, so I think that kind of touches on both of these last two fastballs.
Yeah, I do hate getting negative about excuse me about Gold. But
Yeah,
I'm ready. I'm ready for a change in the creative department. So, but anyways,
yeah.
thank you, Dan,
That's
for that. We always appreciate that. I think you're gonna like this one. This one is from Justzilla at Sean Sodray, 2000. I always felt Mirko was Logan's true love and not Jean. I wonder why Nightcrawler will leave Gold for the Red Team, and hopefully, with the rumor of the new X-Men book coming back, that book can fill in Generation X hole in hearts, Generation hole in our hearts once Gen X is over. So yeah, fill the hole once Gen X is unfortunately over. Yeah, lots to take away from that one. I'll let you lead it.
All right. First things first. Why would Nightcrawler go to the Red Team?
Because the Red Team is about to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. And Nightcrawler always wants to play for the winning team, so he's going to go.
He hasn't got a ring yet.
I'm willing to bet it's going to have something to do with probably Rachel. Maybe Rachel is going to terrify him when she manifests her powers.
Or she combust and disappears. That'd be some shit.
Maybe. Hopefully it's a good reason for why he goes there. All of us are going to have to wait until we get there, because with the relationship with him and Rachel, as of right now, I can't necessarily see a reason for him just leaving her.
Yeah, and we know these timelines don't make sense, so this could be taking place in the past opposed to the future.
Yeah, this right now in Gold could be in the past, and then I'm willing to bet Jean is going to be like in the present. Probably, I think that's probably going to be the most up-to-date book in the series. I think it has to be, because you're bringing Jean back. I don't think that could be something that's like, oh yeah, well, this is taking place before Astonishing but after Gold, and I don't think you can do that with Red.
Mm-hmm.
What was the next? Because I wanted to do these in a certain. Oh yeah, okay. And when we come to Gen X, I think a lot of us, and I think it's awesome to see when some of our listeners feel us on certain books or certain stories when they feel the exact same way. It's just like it's good to see when you guys are, negative. It's also good to see when you guys are positive, and it's heartwarming to see that there are people who are also enjoying Gen X like we are. It would be nice if something could fill that spot that Gen X has right now for us, where it has the same heart that Gen X has, but
yeah, I also don't see Red being that book. I see that more a different approach, especially with Tom Taylor writing it, and we know his sort of approach to storytelling. With Gen X, it seems more of a homey feel sort of book. So if we get that anywhere, I mean, we know that New Mutants is only going to be a mini-series, but maybe that could possibly fill the void of that sort of teen angst and sort of teen drama, so to say.
I think if any book does, it's going to be New Mutants. I think that's if any book's going to do it. I think New Mutants is going to be the one that, if it doesn't fill the void, is going to come close to it. It's going to, it'll occupy the same territory. It might not be the exact same feel, but it'll be in the same vein. So hopefully that does happen. Once again, so sorry to see that Gen X is going. And I will probably be this way. If anybody thinks that I sound down or upset about this, I will be this way until after the series is over. And even then, I'll probably still go on, because I championed so much for that series and for this series and wanted it so badly. And I'm so upset that, things are going this way.
Yeah.
So let me start talking about the last thing to get off of that. Lastly, I agree with the comment about Miracle. I always felt that, that was his true love, and Jean, for all intents and purposes, no disrespect to Miss Gray, was the rebound girl. But with that being said, a lot of people felt that way about Gwen Stacy, and Mary Jane was his rebound girl. So I mean, it's not a disrespectful thing, or it shouldn't be upset that he went and fell for Jean the way he did.
Mm-hmm.
The other reason I think that he's saying that comment is being said is because for a lot of us in the 90s, the way we even knew about her was from the X-Men cartoon, because there was a couple of episodes where like you just felt like there was something there, because he got sad when he saw Scott and Jean together, but those episodes where he talked about miracles, like, oh my goodness, he just got depressed. He got depressed. So I do feel like that was probably his true love. And that's why I think that's like the lowest, dirtiest move that can be done to Logan, is to not only bring her back from the dead, but make her like an assassin that's basically going to
destroy him.
They, for all intents and purposes, they brought her back specifically for him. So that's crazy. Crazy
town. I don't have too much on the Miracle thing. I'm not super familiar with her. I know you have a deep past with Wolverine, so that definitely hits home for you.
Oh yeah, he's one of the reasons I'm here.
There you go. But cool. That is all the Fastball tweets for now. More might come in, because we actually had to, when I made the post this week, I forgot that we had to record Friday opposed to Sunday. So if we do get any, excuse me, and I'm trying to get over this fucking cold. So if we do get any more in, I will probably splice those in. So I'll probably leave some little behind the scenes for you. I'm going to leave some space right here, because now I'm here with Rob doing some Fastball tweets. Look at that.
Amazing.
Who would have thought that? The power of editing and scheduling. And our next one comes from MarvelMan616 at MarvelMan616. And again, he's always doing it the best by giving us some reviews. X-Men Gold was very solid this month. Really no complaints. I really enjoyed Armor and Colossus bilingual. X-Men Welcome Home / Hope You Survive the Experience was amazing. Also, Storm finally got some love. The issue did a really good job of balancing a large cast. The Nightcrawler plot could have waited till the next issue for closure, or not happen at all. That's my words right there, but it would have been more suspenseful, and I definitely agree there. 9 out of 10, he says, for X-Men Gold. And high praise coming from Marvel Man on Gold this week.
Wow. I'm speechless. No, it's good. I was not a fan of that issue, but I'm glad that somebody is. I certainly agree that Storm finally got a moment to shine. That's pretty awesome. Hey, more power to you. If you like it, good for you. That's why we're here.
For sure. And I didn't even think about it necessarily, but overall, he did balance the characters throughout the issue. Like, everyone got screen time, which is nice to see. I'm on the same boat as not necessarily really being a big fan of it. And again, the Nightcrawler bit, you guys heard me speak about it by now. Was not a fan of, but I'm glad Marvel Man 616 is digging it though. Now he goes on to Old Man Logan. Great cover art. Inside art is beautiful too. The story, I don't want Mirako to be the Red Samurai. I don't want her to be a resurrected tool of an evil org. I haven't read this one yet, so it's such a overused trope for women in Logan's life. I will say Logan's reaction and its portrayal was handled very nicely, despite my distaste for it. Old Man Logan, 7 out of 10. So I really didn't even think about that either. I got to send this to Alan, obviously, because by this point you've heard his review of it. He was a big fan of it. Her being resurrected by the hand, it works because it's the hand. I guess I'm a big fan of the hand, so kind of going into that. But great art all around. What's some of your thoughts, Rob?
Well, I kind of definitely embrace some pretty good points here. We haven't seen Mariko in literally, I think, since she died. And an excellent point that these women are being used as tropes that are constantly resurrected for some quick throwaway plot for Wolverine or Logan or Dakin or pick one, and that's not a good thing. But I still think he handled it. Brisson and Deodato did a really good job on this. I don't know how I feel about having Mariko be a Scarlet Samurai as a resurrected corpse. Yeah, all right. I would also point out, and I think it's true, that when I first picked up Days of Anger, I really rolled my eyes because I didn't need more Wasteland, more Wolverine versus Hulk stuff. I didn't want to see any more of that.
Right, and then it worked in the end.
By the end, they just executed it so perfectly, you couldn't help but love it. And I would hope that, maybe if you didn't enjoy the first 2 issues of Scarlet Samurai, that stick around and hopefully it grows on you the way Days of Anger grew on me.
Yeah, and I mentioned during the review as well, there's only 2 issues technically of this arc, and it continues with Muraku into the next arc, which is odd that they're starting a new arc. So maybe this is just to, the calm before the storm for what he really brings. And I trust in Brisson. He's won me over with Old Man Logan, so I trust to see where it goes for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. And goes on to say for Generation X, was a really great character-driven story. I love the centering of queer relationships in this book. 14-year-old closet case me really needed this book. It makes me all the more sad this book is going away. I really hope this cast lands somewhere else once it's done. I hope this arc ends with Monet being restored to her status quo. We actually mentioned that as well during our review. I'm just over the whole implant stuff. She's more dynamic as herself. I'm way more invested in this cast, interpersonal relationships than I am the big bad plot. Jooms and Juno kiss finally. 9 out of 10.
Yeah, amen across the board on that one.
Yeah. Echo just about everything we were talking about during our review as well. But what are some of your thoughts?
Well, I fully agree with all of that particular stuff about Monet, but I do want to draw specific attention to the fact that Christina Strain is writing queer characters and queer teenage characters just perfectly well, in contrast to a certain solo series that did not come out this week. And that's kind of the beauty of the X-Men, is that there's room for everybody. Right. Christina Strain really hits it right out of the park with this stuff. And unlike the solo series where that person's sexuality is their only identity, we actually have rounded characters in Generation X that can grow and mature and interplay off of each other very well. And
their power
that's
sets,
awesome.
everything about them is just
everything.
One thing.
Absolutely, all of it, and that's great.
And at some point, I can only hope that the cast does land somewhere within some X-Men book. I just hope they aren't thrown away just for this, limited series to try to make some bucks and then never deal with them again. Because essentially, they should have done a X-Men, event after Resurrection. Who knows? Maybe that could have been the case. Maybe that was planned. And it didn't work out, unfortunately.
Who knows?
Yeah. We are sad to see the book go, and hopefully it comes back. 9 out of 10. I was a little lower. I went 7.5. What were you got?
I might have also gone 7.5, maybe 8, but that's okay, because I think that this was an issue that was heavy on exposition, because it was setting up the world for new readers, since it was the jumping on point for Legacy.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That doesn't mean that I don't love the series as much as I do. I really do. And it's great.
Yeah, and Alan was right there with you as well, Marvel Man, at 9 out of 10 also. And now he goes on to say, Old Man Logan versus Deadpool. This book did you read this issue? Because I know you mentioned you might wait.
Yeah, I'm waiting until at least issue 4 comes out, because I really, truly hated issue 1. And I was hoping that by the time we got to issue 4, I might judge it a little bit more favorably if I can read it all in a straight arc.
Stick with it for Maddie. That's all I'll say.
Okay, that sounds like good advice.
This book has picked up somewhat from the previous issue. Gorgeous art, great cover, but meh. And I think I gave the same score as him with a 5 out of 10. I think that's where I sat at with it. Yeah, it picks up. Maddie. That's all I can say without spoiling it for you.
Well, that's good.
Thank you for that, Marvelman 616. And our next one is Ghetto Testimonial at Techno Genius. The quality of Generation X, and great name by the way, the quality of Generation X greatly improved after issue 4, but it was way too late because the sales had plummeted so drastically after issue 1. Is this you, Rob? Did you send this in?
I agree, but I didn't send that in.
Okay. At least X-Men Red is on the horizon. Yeah, thank God. And hopefully, Storm Solo series with Ta-Nehisi Coates and Jen Bartel is announced soon. And I can't. Are you familiar with Jen Bartel's art at all?
Yes.
It's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be the perfect fit for that book. And then we have X-Men Red, the team book that I think we will finally get and not deserve, but be good all around, well liked among everyone. But yeah, what were some of your thoughts?
I'm also looking forward to some of the new books next year. I agree with the comment about Gen X and the fact that it seemed to have stumbled a little bit out of the gate. But it's a shame because it once it picks up, it truly picks up, and it becomes really, really wonderful. Not only just does it pick up in its own right, but it really stands out.
Yeah,
it's a really stark contrast to the other X books that are on the shelves right now. It gives you more of the drama and the soap opera ishness that makes the X-Men so great. That is unfortunately lacking from Gold and Blue and Weapon X and etc. So. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and Techno Genius, if you haven't been listening from the start, we've been preaching this as well as far as it finally improving after that 4th or 5th issue for us. And we were like, yeah, here we go. It's finally found its footing. It's good to go, but unfortunately it just didn't have the chance. Many factors. And thank you for that as well. And our next one is from Brandon J. Griffin at Griff Funk. Negative Zone War is a lot of fun. Old Man Logan is a classic kung fu movie drenched in blood and claws. How are you not going to talk about Grand Design, though? Don't worry. We will be discussing that for sure. I talked to him on Twitter also. We're going to do a special episode for a couple of those issues, or for the 2 issues.
Grand Design requires some special attention.
Yeah. And especially with the holidays, there were no way we could have squeezed that, unfortunately. But we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it's going to particularly do really, really well for reviewing when we look at both issues next to each other.
Yeah, together. Me and Alan were gushing over your Storm cover you got today. He came over.
Oh, that was so good.
Both of our shops didn't have them.
Spoiler alert for our reviews, it's probably going to be positive.
I bet. And Negative Zone War for him, Brandon has been digging this arc as well. So we've had this week with the Fastball Tweets as we jump forward as well. Everyone's kind of mixed on it, so it's interesting to see that. But he's been a big fan of it. Old Man Logan being a classic kung fu movie, yeah, definitely. Because I've always been saying lately, it's kind of had that action feel, and now bringing the hand into it, yeah, easily a kung fu flick.
Yeah, for sure.
What are some of your thoughts though?
I wasn't too keen on Gold this week, but Old Man Logan I'll stand behind. Old Man Logan was amazing. I am hoping though that the next issue has a lot more fight out of Logan. Not that this was short on fight because there was lots of it, but the more the merrier with him, particularly when he's fighting an army of disposable villains.
Yeah, it was nice. I did enjoy like the how they cross paths first before getting into all the action. But no, knowing that we have either 4 or 5 more issues of this arc, should be worthwhile, I think.
Yeah.
But now we are going to jump ahead, and then I'm going to act like we came back to the show and talked about the books that we're talking about next week, because we have Despicable Deadpool, number 291. We have Phoenix Resurrection. This I didn't expect. I forgot this was coming out. Number 1 with 20 variants, so to speak, which will be on the shelves for a while. And then we have Secret Warriors number 11. One more issue before that series ends. And then X-Men Blue. We'll see if that can bounce back from that last issue that we weren't too fond of. But hey, at least you get your Gen X there.
Yeah.
We can get them right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Yeah, we also have one more episode before the new year. We also will be announcing something kind of cool, I think. on the January 1st, 2018. We can't wait to let you guys know. We're gonna record an episode with me and Alan talking about what's to come for the future of this podcast and everything else moving forward, and all you guys' support as well. What else, Alan? I put up the Uncanny Sessions, Uncanny Avengers number 30 review. Myself and Rob got together today to record that. It's the final issue before it goes into No Surrender. You might hear me weep a few times because I loved it so much. But I think that is about it as my dogs start to bark. You got anything else, Alan, before we get out of here?
No, just be on the lookout for what's coming. Something big is on the way.